Judy Murray, thank you so much. Really a pleasure to meet you. And my first question is to you, how proud are you of your two boys?
Get asked that a lot. I'm unbelievably proud of them. I mean, they obviously are amazing tennis players, but they're also amazing kids too.
I want to ask you about the word kids. Growing up, were they very competitive amongst themselves?
Yeah, they were probably up to the age of about 14 with their tennis, and then they kind of went off in different directions a little bit after that. Andy went to train in Spain, Jamie stayed on at school and then went to train in France. But when they were between the ages of 8 and 13, 14, they were very competitive, not just on the training court, but actually in anything that they played, whether it was golf or card games. But I think that it really helped Andy, being the younger one, having an older sibling who was better and bigger at everything than he was pretty much through all of his developmental years, and that probably gave him that kind of extra competitive edge that he's got now.
Do they fight amongst themselves a lot?
Well, they used to, not so much now, although I think there are still occasional arguments if they go out on the golf course together.
Bringing them up, how tough was it for you as a single mother?
Well, I think it's tough for any parent. You know, it's an individual sport, so there's a huge onus on the parents to make a lot of things happen. I mean, you know, whether that's contacting the coach to get the lessons going, driving them to and from tournaments, the scheduling, the financing of it all. Those are the tough things, because it's not like a team sport where you've got a fixture list and the club that you play for or the county that you play for takes care of a lot of the training for you. So there is a huge onus on every parent of every player in an individual sport, and tennis is tough, and it's expensive, and it's a long journey. So yeah, there's a lot of years of hard graft gone into that.
A journey, I think, is probably the operative word. I mean, when they were growing up, I mean, Jamie has had success on the doubles court, and obviously we know what Andy's results. And did you think it would get to this stage? Well, you don't know.
Yep. You don't know. I mean, that was always what they were aiming for. They always loved to play on the big stages whenever they got a chance, and they're real students of the game. I mean, they would know every result and all the backgrounds of all of the top players. I mean, they were absolutely immersed in it from a young age. And I think when Andy was 16 and he beat his first top 100 player and he won his first Futures event, I think that was when I thought that perhaps he had a chance to do something in the game. You never really know, because I think that when they're young, they may well have all the tennis skills and be great athletes, or have a lot of talent and a lot of potential, but you don't know until they're older whether they can actually hack the life of being a full-time player. And that's absolutely it. And Jamie was the same. From about 8 years old, he wanted to be a tennis player. He was much more focused on, I want to be a tennis player, from very young than Andy perhaps was. He was always torn between whether he was going to be a footballer or a tennis player. But Jamie never wavered from it. I mean, even when things were very, very tough for him, when he just came out of juniors, and I thought that it was a better option for him to go to an American university, and he was absolutely adamant that he wanted to be a player and he wanted to go on the circuit. Wow. And he found his niche in doubles, and he found his more in singles. So yeah, two very different styles of play, but two kids who were brought up in pretty much the same way. Yeah.
Did you ever have to push them?
No, never. If I'd had to push them, we would have gone off and tried something else. But no, never. They always wanted to do it.
What's tougher for you, being a mum of two grown-up boys now, or being captain of the British Fed Cup team and junior teams and all that? How tough have been the two things? And are there comparisons?
Well, there are obviously comparisons in that, you're doing the coaching, you're doing the tactical preparation, you're doing the motivational side of the motivational side, with whether I'm working with the junior team or the Fed Cup team, or whether I'm, not so much now with the boys, but when they were younger, that's a huge part of it, is like, the encouraging them and the supporting of them. But yeah, I mean, for me, it was a big opportunity in December when the LTA gave me the chance to do the Fed Cup role, and obviously that's extended down into helping out with the juniors as well. And of course, it's on the female side, which I was not so familiar with. I'd always worked with juniors and more on the men's side, obviously. So it was a new challenge for me, and I've absolutely loved it. I really have.
When you see the publicity that Andy's had over the years, and to be honest, there's been negative stuff, unwarranted. How has that affected you as a mother? I mean, were you able to put all that to one side and just put an arm around him? Because, I'm sure it would have affected a young person trying to make inroads in this sport.
Yeah, I think it is very difficult, particularly in our country where there are so many daily and Sunday newspapers. So there's a lot of articles flying around. But yeah, I mean, I think the way that we always tried to deal was not to read too much press, but also to focus on the fact that the people who write these articles actually don't know anything about you as people. They can form their opinion perhaps from how they see you are on court, but I think Andy's always been very clear that when he's on the court, that's his job, and he's very serious about what he's doing. But I think he's handling all of that kind of side so much better now, and it's all come with maturity and I guess being around other top players and seeing how they handle it and come across. But yeah, I think you're living in a bit of a goldfish bowl, particularly in our country, when you're the only player that's a contender at any of the major events at the moment. So yeah, I think he's done a great job handling it. I don't know how he does it.
Just to start closing, talk about the agony and the ecstasy at Wimbledon, going from that incredible emotion against Roger in the final to the elation against Roger in the Olympic final.
You're not going to make me cry here, are you?
Oh, come on, I'd love it.
I'm not going to. Oh yeah, I think the Wimbledon final was something very, very special. It's your home slam, and playing against Roger, probably the best player that's ever lived, and just a huge privilege to be there and to see that. And of course for almost 2 sets, Andy looked like he might be on his way to his first slam title, and sadly it didn't work out. But I think that the emotions got to me when I saw how hard it was for him making the runners-up speech, and I couldn't bear to watch that because he was so upset, and I'm thinking he's having to do this in front of thousands of people watching and millions of people watching on the television, and that's when I thought, oh, this is so tough for him, and I know how hard he's worked for so many years, I know how much he wanted it, and he's having to put on a brave face here, and that was the tough thing for me. It wasn't the fact that he had lost. And then a few weeks later, I mean, I think all the way through his career, even from when he was very young, whenever he has lost a match that's really hurt him, he's always come back stronger. And so I kind of thought that that's what would happen with him after the Wimbledon final, was that it would just make him even more determined, and it did. He was so determined that he was going to win a medal, and he was very focused and very composed the whole way through the Olympics. And I think the fact that it was our home Olympics, it was at Wimbledon, and the crowd were just sensational, and that really lifted him. I mean, there was just a relaxed, excited, sports fan atmosphere. It was quite different from Wimbledon. And I think that helped him a lot. So yeah, I mean, it was wonderful to see him winning that. It really was.
Have you worn the medal?
I got to wear the silver one. He didn't let me wear the gold one. we got our picture taken afterwards, and he said, somebody said, put the medals on, and he said, here, you can have this one. And he gave me the silver one, which is fine. But they were very heavy. That was the surprising thing about them, big and heavy.
Judy Murray, thank you so much for your time.